Hi, this video is going to walk you through four long division problems. So here's question 1. We have this divided by that, so if we're going to write it in long division, we have the x plus 2, and then we have our x to the 4th plus x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 2. So as we divide, again, it's always based on this first x. So we want to know, how do you make that first x? What do you multiply by to get an x to the 4th? And you'd multiply by x cubed. So you take your x cubed and you multiply it by x to get x to the 4th. You take your x cubed, and this is the only time you do anything with this number is when you're multiplying, and you multiply it by positive 2. So you get positive 2x cubed. And then you will subtract. And you're subtracting this whole quantity. So these will always cancel out, and now you have 1 x cubed minus 2x's cubed, which gives you a negative 1x cubed, and you bring down your negative 2x squared. You ask yourself, how do I make an x become a negative 1x cubed? By multiplying by a negative 1x squared. Negative 1 x squared times x gives me my negative 1x cubed. Negative 1x squared times a positive 2 gives me a 2x squared. Now I subtract. These should always cancel out, and now you have negative 2 minus another negative 2, which is actually 0x squared. And you bring down your next term, which is a plus 1x. How do I make an x become a 0x squared? By multiplying by a 0x. Even though it's 0, I like to put it up here to follow the process. So 0x times x is 0x squared. 0x times 2 is still a 0x, and we subtract. Again, subtracting zeros, again, cancel out. 1 minus 0 is still 1x. And then I bring down my next term, which is a negative 2. How do I make an x become a negative, or become at 1x? By multiplying by 1. So I get 1x. 1 times a positive 2 is a positive 2. Again, you are subtracting these. X minus x is gone. Negative 2 minus 2 more is a negative 4. So my final answer is a negative 4 divided by an x plus 2. That is how you do the first example in this video. The next example in this video, again, asks us to divide. So we're going to divide the x cubed plus 9x squared plus 26x plus 24. We are going to divide that by x plus 3. You always, again, go to this first x and you ask, how do I make an x become an x cubed? By multiplying by an x squared. X squared times x is that x cubed we were looking for. X squared times 3 is a positive 3x squared. And then we subtract. These should cancel. 9 minus 3 is 6x squared. You bring down the next term. How do you make an x become a 6x squared? Well, you need a 6 and you need another x. So 6x times x is 6x squared. 6x times 3 is 18x. And then you subtract. These would cancel. 26 minus 18 is 8x. And then you bring down the 24. How do you make an x become an 8x? By having an 8. 8 times x is 8x. 8 times 3 is positive 24. If you subtract these two, you have 0. So your remainder is 0. These two are actually factors. The third example, again, just another long division. This time you have 3x to the 4th plus 6x cubed plus x squared minus x plus 1 divided by 3x plus 1. So again, you start off with this part. How do you make a 3x become a 3x to the 4th? You need an x cubed. X cubed times 3x is a 3x to the 4th. X cubed times 1 is a positive 1x cubed. Then you subtract. These cancel. 6 minus 1 is 5x cubed plus x squared. Now this is a case where we notice how many times does 3x go into 5x cubed? We must be having a problem in which these are not divisible. Again, if I check on my work, 6 minus 1 is 5, but 3x does not go into a 5x cubed, therefore it's not divisible. So we already can say that 3x plus 1 is not a factor, and in this case we are going to have a huge remainder. Since we can't, again, divide into, it's x cubed plus the remainder of 5x cubed plus x squared. Bring down the next term, minus x plus 1 divisible by 3x plus 1. So again, because 3x is not going to 5, we know that all the remaining pieces are remainders. This is our 4th example. When you have this one, notice there's no x cubed and no x, so we must do placeholders. So this is going to be x to the 4th plus 0x cubed minus 13x squared plus 0x plus 36. So you have to have placeholders again for any missing exponents or missing powers. Divided by x minus 2. So how do you make an x become an x to the 4th? With an x cubed. X cubed times x is x to the 4th. X cubed times negative 2 is negative 2x cubed. Then you subtract. 0 minus a negative 2 is actually a positive 2x cubed. You bring down the next term, which is a negative 13x squared. How do you make an x become a 2x cubed? We need a positive 2 and an x squared, so that you get your 2x cubed. 2x squared times a negative 2 is minus 4x squared, and you subtract. These cancel. Negative 13 minus a negative 4 is actually a plus 4, so you get a negative 9x squared. Bring down the next term, which is a 0x. How do you make an x become a negative 9x squared? With having a negative 9x. You get a negative 9x squared. Negative 9 times a negative 2 is a positive 18x, and you subtract. These cancel. 0 minus 18 is negative 18x. Bring down the positive 36. How do you make a x become a negative 18x? With a negative 18. Negative 18 times x is negative 18x. Negative 18 times negative 2 is a positive 36. You subtract those and you get 0. So this is my final answer. There is no remainder, so x minus 2 is a factor. These are 4 examples from the pretest that you were given. Please take a moment again to review all of them. You will have a post-test later within the unit.